Some sightings make old legends feel a little too real, from a towering Mothman standing silently in a forest to a mysterious griffin moving through the trees, and chilling sightings of the Vietnamese rock ape deep in the jungle. These are unexplained mythical creatures caught on camera. Number 20. The Wendigo at the Tent. The footage is rough, dark, and hard to watch without feeling trapped inside it. A handheld camera shakes in the middle of the forest at night, with only a weak light cutting through the black. Then the side of a tent comes into view. The fabric is torn, like something has ripped across it from outside. For a second, the camera catches movement near the tear. A face hides in the dark. Above it, antler-like shapes rise into the frame. That image sends the whole scene into Wendigo territory. The Wendigo comes from the stories of Algonquian-speaking peoples, especially in the cold forests of North America. At its core, the legend is about hunger that has gone wrong. A person pushed past all limits is overtaken by greed, starvation, and something no longer human. The creature is often described as tall, thin, pale, and starving forever, no matter how much it eats. The antlers seen in modern versions are not part of every older story. Many early descriptions focus more on the wasted body, long limbs, dead-looking skin, and a hunger that never ends. But the antlered version has become the one people fear most now. Number 19. El Charro Negro. The crowd in the video already sounds nervous before anything even appears. A man pulls out his phone because everyone seems to be waiting for something, and the air feels tense, like they know they should not be there. Then the silence breaks. A dark rider comes into view, tall and still, mounted on a black horse, moving with the kind of calm that makes the whole scene feel colder. This is the kind of sighting people connect to El Charro Negro, one of the most feared figures in Mexican folklore. He is usually described as a mysterious horseman dressed all in black, wearing the wide hat and sharp look of a charro. But there is nothing friendly about him. He is said to appear on lonely roads, near cemeteries, or in empty places where people already feel uneasy. His horse is often just as dark as he is, and some stories say the sound of its hooves comes before you ever see him. In the legend, El Charro Negro does not always attack right away. Sometimes he offers help. Sometimes he offers money. Sometimes he simply rides near a person until fear does the work for him. But his gifts are dangerous, and accepting anything from him can trap a person in something far worse than death. Number 18. The White Lady in the Hills. The soldiers are filming a quiet stretch of hills, taking in the view around the place where they have been sent. Nothing about the scene seems threatening at first. The land is open, the air looks cold, and the hills fade into a light fog that makes the distance feel soft and empty. Then something white appears at the edge of the landscape. At first, it could be mistaken for mist or a trick of the light, but the shape holds together. It moves like a woman, dressed in white, silent and alone, crossing near the hills without any clear reason to be there. The soldiers stop watching the scenery and focus on her. No one seems sure what they are seeing. She does not run toward them. She does not scream. This is the kind of sighting tied to the White Lady, a ghost figure found in stories across many cultures. She is often linked to grief, betrayal, loss, or a death that never settled. In many versions, she appears near roads, forests, rivers, old homes, or lonely hills, usually wearing a white dress and moving without a sound. Number 17. Vietnam's rock ape. The man behind the camera thinks he is filming monkeys climbing around his property in Vietnam. At first, that seems normal enough. Shapes move near the trees, small bodies shift through the branches, and the scene has the rough, quick feel of someone grabbing a phone before the animals disappear. But the longer the clip goes on, the less it feels like ordinary monkeys. The movement looks heavier. The forms look more upright. Something about them brings back one of the strangest creature stories ever tied to the jungles of Southeast Asia. Vietnam's rock ape is said to live in thick forests, mountain slopes, borderlands, cliffs, and caves. Local stories describe it as a strong, hairy, human-like creature, usually around 6 feet tall with reddish-brown, gray, or black hair. It is not supposed to move like a normal ape. It is often described as walking on 2 legs, watching from the trees, and staying just far enough away to remain unclear. The legend became famous during the Vietnam War, when American soldiers reported seeing hairy, upright figures in the Central Highlands, especially near the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Some said they appeared in small groups. Others said they watched silently from the tree line. Direct contact was rare, but the sightings were strange enough for soldiers to give them a name: rock apes. Number 16. The mapinguari. The footage looks like something pulled out of an old film reel. The colors are faded. The image is grainy. The camera shakes as it points into thick jungle where vines hang from tall trees and only thin strips of sunlight cut through the leaves. Then a huge figure steps partly into a small opening. It is tall, much taller than a man, maybe close to 8 feet. The face is hard to read through the rough image, but the eyes catch the light for a second, wide and strange, before the body slips back into the green. That is exactly the kind of scene that makes people think of the mapinguari, one of the most feared creatures in Amazon legend. It is often called the roaring animal, and the name fits. Stories describe it as a giant hairy being that moves through the deepest rainforest, far from villages and clear paths. Some versions say it has 1 eye. Others give it backward feet, so anyone tracking it would follow the prints the wrong way. The strangest versions say it has a mouth in its belly, turning the whole body into something almost impossible to forget. The mapinguari is not treated like a normal animal in these stories. It is the creature of places people are not meant to enter. And in this clip, that huge shape does not look lost. It looks like it belongs there. Number 15. The mermaid in the deep. The diver is filming the ocean floor, moving his camera across the bright life below him. Fish pass through the frame, coral fills the background, and everything feels calm in that quiet underwater way. Then a shadow appears in the distance. At first, it is easy to miss. The water blurs the shape, and the diver keeps recording as if he is still trying to understand what he is seeing. Then the figure moves. It looks humanoid, but not fully human. The upper body seems shaped like a person, but behind it is a thin tail moving with quick, smooth power. It darts past the coral too fast to study, too graceful to feel like a normal swimmer, and too human-like to dismiss as just another fish. That is why the sighting points straight to mermaid legends. For centuries, sailors and coastal communities have told stories of beings that were half human and half fish. Some were described as beautiful and mysterious. Others were dangerous, leading sailors into deep water or appearing before disaster. In many cultures, mermaids are tied to the unknown side of the sea, the part that looks calm above but hides things people were never meant to see. Number 14. The dog-headed men. The footage shows an open grassy field with trees scattered in the distance. Across the scene, several tall figures move together in a loose group. Their bodies look human enough to make the sight feel wrong right away, but their heads do not. Each one appears to have the head of a dog, set on top of an upright, fur-covered body. They are not crawling. They are not moving like normal animals. They walk in a way that makes them look like a strange tribe crossing the field, almost calm, almost organized. That is what connects the scene to the legend of the cynocephali, the dog-headed people. Stories of the cynocephali go back more than 2,000 years. Ancient writers describe them as tribes with human bodies and dog-like heads. They were said to bark instead of speak, wear animal skins, hunt for food, and live in distant lands such as India, Libya, or Ethiopia. Some versions made them sound wild and dangerous. Others treated them almost like another kind of human group. Strange, but not mindless. Number 13. The Birdman. Outside the house. The home security camera catches a quiet area near a house in Ohio. Nothing about the scene looks dramatic at first. Then a strange figure crosses the frame, and the whole clip changes. It stands upright, but it does not look fully human. Its body has a bird-like shape with long legs, a pale head, and proportions that feel wrong the longer you look at them. It appears to be around 5 feet tall, But the most disturbing part is not just the size, it is the speed. In only a couple of seconds it crosses about 15 feet, moving with a quick, sharp pace that feels too controlled for a confused animal, and too strange for a person in a costume.
When this footage came out, I remember it created a bit of a stir in the cryptozoology community. The owner claimed that this thing was some type of bipedal, bird-like creature.
The sighting lines up with the broader legend of the Birdman, a creature described in different reports as a humanoid with bird-like features. Some stories give it clawed feet, others describe wings, feathers, a narrow body, or a head that looks closer to a bird than a human. What separates it from a normal large bird is the way it moves. It is often said to walk or run upright, almost like a person trying to mimic an animal. Number 12. The Serpent Woman in the Dark. The flashlight sweeps across the ground at night, and for a moment the beam catches something pale near the dirt. It does not look like an animal at first. From the waist up, the figure looks almost human, with a slim female body, thin arms, and long dark hair falling forward. But then the light moves lower, and the body changes into something that should not be there. Below the waist is a thick serpent tail, shiny and scaled, curled across the ground as if the creature has just dragged itself out of the shadows. It does not look like a person wearing a costume. The upper body and lower body seem joined in one strange form, half woman, half snake, lying low in the dark like it was waiting to be found. That kind of sighting fits many old stories, but the closest are Lamia and the Naga. In Greek myth, Lamia began as a beautiful woman before being turned into something monstrous. Over time, she became known as a snake-bodied figure tied to fear, loss, and danger. In Hindu, Buddhist, and Southeast Asian traditions, Nagas and Naginis are powerful serpent beings, sometimes shown with human upper bodies and snake lower halves. Some are protectors. Some are spirits of water in hidden places. Others are dangerous when disturbed. Number 11. The Forest Tentacle Beast. The camera points into thick brush, and at first it is hard to tell what is moving. Then the shapes begin to separate from the plants. Dark limbs twist through the undergrowth like tentacles, curling and pulling back as branches snap around them. The motion is not fast, but it is controlled. It moves with a strange liquid grace, like something built for water has somehow learned to travel through the forest. The creature is huge, dark, and nothing about it fits a normal animal. That is why it feels tied to old stories of giant tentacled beings, especially the Akarokamui from Ainu folklore. The Akarokamui is usually described as a massive octopus-like creature with enormous reach and frightening strength. In the old stories, it lives in the sea, where its arms can pull boats, animals, or people into hidden depths. But this sighting twists that fear into something worse. What if a thing like that was not waiting under the water but inside the trees? Its arms could look like vines. Its body could hide behind roots. It would not need to chase anything in the open. It would just wait for someone to step close enough. Number 10. Jabahi. The clip does not show a clean, easy-to-explain animal. It shows long, dark limbs moving low through the brush, slow and controlled, like a creature built to stay hidden until it is too late. The body looks thick, but the legs are the part that catch the eye. They stretch out like black poles, bending through the plants with a strange, careful motion. It is too large to dismiss as a normal spider, but too spider-like to ignore. That brings the sighting close to the legend of Jabahi, the giant spider of Congo stories. This creature is said to live in the deep rainforest, far from open ground and human paths. It is described as a huge spider with a wide body, long branch-like legs, and fangs strong enough to stop anything that gets too close. Some stories say it can reach around 5 feet across, making it larger than any spider people expect to see alive. In the legend, Jabahi is not just a random monster hiding in the trees. It is treated like a warning built into the jungle itself. Walk carefully, respect the forest, and maybe it lets you pass. Push too far into its ground, and the trees stop feeling empty. In the footage, that is the worst part. The thing does not rush. It moves like it has all the time in the world. Number 9. The Griffin in the Trees. The footage comes from a wooded area where a large four-legged creature moves between trees and brush. At first, its body looks like a big cat, low and powerful, with heavy back legs and a long tail. But then the shape becomes stranger. Along its back, something like wings appears, partly folded, partly spread, giving the whole animal the look of something that should not be walking through a normal forest. That is why the sighting points straight to the griffin, one of the oldest and most striking creatures in legend. A griffin is usually described with the body, tail, and back legs of a lion, but the head, wings, and claws of an eagle. It was not seen as a weak or playful creature. It was a symbol of strength, watchfulness, and power. In many old stories, griffins guarded treasure, sacred places, and land no ordinary person was meant to take. The idea goes back thousands of years, appearing in the ancient worlds of Mesopotamia, Persia, Egypt, Greece, and Rome. Number 8. The Mothman in the Winter Woods. The camera opens on a bare winter forest, the kind of place where every branch looks dead and every sound feels too loud. In the middle of a wide clearing, something tall stands in full view. It is shaped almost like a man, but the body looks wrong. The frame is narrow, the upper half is heavy, and the outline has the strange look of wings folded close to the body. It does not run. It does not panic. It just stands there, silent, like it already knows it has been seen. That is what pulls the footage straight into Mothman territory. The legend began around Point Pleasant, West Virginia in 1967, when people started reporting a huge winged figure with glowing red eyes. Some said it followed cars. Others said it appeared near dark roads, empty fields, and old industrial land. Then the Silver Bridge collapsed on December 15, 1967, killing 46 people, and the story became much darker. To some locals, Mothman was not just a monster, it was a warning, a thing that appeared before disaster and vanished before anyone understood what it meant. Skeptics have tried to explain it as a large bird, a crane, or an escaped animal. But in this clip, standing alone in that cold forest, it does not feel like a bird at all. Number 7. The Burning Phoenix. The footage catches a bird-like shape glowing with bright orange and yellow fire. The flames run across its body and wings like the creature itself has become a living torch. For a second, it looks impossible. A normal bird should fall apart in that kind of heat, but this shape keeps its form, opening its wings as if the fire belongs to it. That image lands straight on the legend of the phoenix. Across many old stories, the phoenix is not just a bird. It is a symbol of life that refuses to end. It is often described as large and beautiful, with red, gold, and purple feathers that shine like burning sunlight. Some versions say it lives for hundreds of years. Others stretch that life even longer, making it feel almost beyond time. When the phoenix reaches the end of its life, the story says it builds a nest from sweet-smelling wood, spices, and branches. Then the nest burns. The old bird is consumed by fire, but the story does not end there. From the ashes, a new phoenix rises, young again, born from the remains of the old one. Number 6. The Water Spirit at the Lake. The scene starts like a normal night of fishing. The water is dark, the light is weak, and a boy stands close enough to reach toward whatever is moving near the surface. Then something pale rises out of the lake. It looks long, slick, and heavy, sliding up from the black water like it has been waiting just below the surface. The boy reaches out, maybe trying to touch it or grab it. The moment feels careless for only a second. Then everything changes. The pale shape pulls hard, and the boy is dragged into the water so fast it feels like the lake snatches him whole. There is no long struggle, no warning, no time to understand what just happened. 1 second he is above the water, the next he is gone. That kind of encounter fits old Vietnamese water spirit stories. These legends often speak of beings that live in rivers, lakes, lagoons, and coastal waters. Some are protective, some are angry, some lure people close before turning dangerous. Stories include fishmen, water ghosts, and river serpent spirits that punish anyone who disturbs the wrong place at the wrong time. The warning behind them is simple and frightening. Water is not empty just because it looks still. At night, near a dark lake, something unknown rising to the surface may not be a catch. It may be the thing doing the catching. Number 5. The Flatwoods Monster. The video starts in a harmless way with a couple of friends feeding the bunnies they keep as pets. The mood is relaxed. Nothing about the scene feels dangerous. Then a strange sound comes from outside and the whole moment shifts. They stop paying attention to the animals and move toward the noise, not knowing that the thing waiting beyond the darkness may be tied to one of America's strangest monster stories. The creature connected to this encounter is the Flatwoods monster, a legend that began in West Virginia in 1952. Witnesses described a tall figure standing in the dark after a strange light was seen in the sky. It was said to have a glowing face, a wide hood-like shape around its head, and a body that looked almost metallic. Some versions describe claw-like hands. Others say it seemed to float or glide rather than walk. The air around it was said to smell sharp and sickening, and several witnesses later claimed they felt ill after the encounter. Number 4. The Lagarfljót worm. The video begins with a man filming the surface of the water. At first, there is almost nothing to see. The lake looks still, flat, and quiet, the kind of place where the smallest movement stands out. Then the surface begins to shift. Something long seems to move just beneath it, disturbing the calm in a slow, strange pattern. The shape does not rise fully out of the water. That is what makes it worse. It stays partly hidden, showing only enough movement to suggest that something large is sliding below the surface. The water bends around it, ripples spread out, and for a moment the lake stops feeling empty. This encounter is tied to the Lagarfljót worm, one of Iceland's most famous lake monsters. The creature is said to live in Lagarfljót, a long lake in eastern Iceland. Stories about it go back for centuries, and most describe a giant serpent-like being moving through the water in slow, winding motions. Some accounts say it is longer than any normal animal in the lake. Others say it appears only briefly, then sinks before anyone can prove what they saw. Number 3. The skinwalker on the porch. The man is sitting inside his house when the quiet outside starts to feel wrong. At first, it is only a sound near the front porch, something strange enough to make him stop and listen. Then the fear in his voice changes the whole clip. He is not acting curious anymore. He sounds like someone who already knows this is not a normal animal wandering through the yard. As he looks toward the porch, something dark moves outside. It is low for a moment, then higher, shifting too fast for the eye to settle on one shape. Part of it seems human, part of it seems animal. Then it slips across the yard with unnatural speed and disappears before anyone can get a clear look. That is why the encounter feels tied to the skinwalker, one of the most feared figures in Navajo tradition. In the stories, a skinwalker is not just a monster in the woods. It is a person who has crossed into dark power and can take the shape of animals to move unseen. Some are said to copy voices. Some appear near homes at night. Others watch from just outside the light, close enough to be seen but never long enough to be understood. Number 2. The white thing at the fence. The scene looks like a quiet rural night until the animals make it clear that something is wrong. A motion light shines over a farm enclosure where several white sheep are packed together in the foreground. They do not look calm. 2 large guardian dogs are nearby, and even they seem shaken, staring toward the fence like they want no part of whatever is standing there. Then the camera catches it. A tall, dark figure is leaning over the top rail of the wooden fence. Its body is thick and heavy, covered in black-brown fur with wide shoulders, long arms, and a strange cone-shaped head. It looks too upright for a bear, too bulky for a person, and too comfortable in the dark for anything that should be near livestock. That is what makes it feel close to the Appalachian legend of the sheep squatch, also known as the White Thing. In old stories from West Virginia and Virginia, this creature is described as a huge, shaggy beast with powerful limbs, long claws, and a pale face that can look almost mask-like in the dark. Some versions say it smells foul. Others say it lets out a scream that does not sound human or animal. Whatever is over that fence is not just passing by. It looks like it came for the sheep. Number 1. The giant Thunderbird. The story begins with reports, old footage, and the kind of fear that spreads across whole towns. During July of 1977, newspapers and television stations began receiving strange claims from central Illinois. People were saying they had seen giant birds in the sky, not large hawks, not normal eagles. Birds so big that witnesses described wingspans longer than 20 feet. That is where the legend of the giant Thunderbird takes over. Thunderbirds have deep roots in Native American traditions, where they are often seen as powerful sky beings linked to storms, thunder, and awe. In many stories, they are not just birds. They are forces of nature. Their wings are said to shake the sky. Their movements are tied to weather, power, and warning. Modern sightings describe something more physical but just as frightening. Witnesses report huge dark birds soaring above fields, roads, and small towns. Some stories even claim these birds tried to lift animals, or came low enough for people to understand just how massive they were. Thanks for watching. Now check out the videos popping up on screen for more unbelievable stories.